This has been an unusual winter on Lake Erie. Little to no ice so far and some of the highest water levels on record.
It could prove to be a destructive combination. Meteorologist Ryan Weekman shows us how.
You don't even have to flip the calendar back a full year to see the power Lake Erie waves can have on our lives. Last spring, storms created waves that washed out a highway on Marblehead Island and flooded state roads and parks along the shoreline. This year, so far, there's less ice to help buffer those shorelines.
By forming an ice foot along that shoreline, then when you start to get the warm up, you've at least got that shelf before it melts, so you've got some protection. So that wave action isn't always still continuing right up over the beach, onto the dune, or on the cliff. So it provides a little bit of a buffer while it's there. Well, we don't have it.
As a geographer at the University of Toledo, Patrick Lawrence has studied Great Lakes water level changes and doesn't expect a swift turnaround back to normal.
We do go through these cycles every 10, 12, 14 years. We'll hit a peak, then it will ebb back to an average, and then we'll go low again. Those occur, and so it's just part of the way that the system long-term is responding to those long-term variabilities in temperature, evaporation, and precipitation.
All winter long, lake ice has been near historic lows. The high lake levels don't impact how ice develops, but our lack of cold weather certainly does. We went to NOAA's Great Lakes Experimental Research Lab in Ann Arbor to talk with lead ice scientists about this unusual winter. Many of those scientists highlighted just because the lake has been slow to grow ice so far, that doesn't mean this year is a total bust. Yet.
That will be usually occur in March, and May. Some year in March, early March is to have a maximum. So maybe mid of March, yeah, that will be, but this is a year-to-year change.
When we think iced over Lake Erie, the winters of 2014 and 2015 come to mind. Ice was at an all-time record high during those brutal winters. But cold months like those have become more of a rarity. Long-term trends point to less Lake Erie ice.
Yes, we've seen the long-term decrease or trend in Lake Erie and other lake. However, after 2014-15's high ice cover, the trend was decreased significantly, but still have a downward trend.
If that trend does continue, it will impact much of Northwest Ohio, even those that live far away from the shores of Lake Erie. Winters that have low ice are followed by warmer than average spring seasons. Let's look at the three lowest ice years since 1970s. Spring was on average nearly 2 degrees warmer. Probably doesn't sound like much, but it's the difference between a frigid long spring and an early warm breakout from winter. It remains to be seen what the rest of this winter holds for Lake Erie, but the impacts of weather today will be felt for some time to come.